protecting me. Eventually, I ended up in San Antonio, Texas, and that's the burn, probably the burn center of the world. But I woke up out of my coma and just started going through the gruesome therapy of stretching my limbs, feeding myself, all that walking, you name it. Once in a while, I have a surgery for an elbow release or a wrist release or some sort of crazy surgery. I was there at Brooke Army Medical Center for about 6 years. Just kept working, and then at the end of the 5 or 6 years that I was there, I told them I'm ready to get out of here and I'm ready to go do something. The reason I chose to stay in the Marine Corps was because there's something that I've seen ever since I was a kid in the Marine Corps. It's a camaraderie that you cannot find anywhere else, not in any of the other branches, not in any job. I'd like to be a good example for those Marines that if I could do it, they could do it. If we commit to something, we need to go 110%. We can't lollygag, we can't waver. We have to be true to our faith, true to our core. My name is Isaac Gallegos, Sergeant in the United States Marine Corps, stationed in Camp Pendleton, California, but currently going to school at Camp Johnson, North Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are no words to describe that courage. And our thanks go out to Corporal Burton for capturing, perhaps in the only way possible, Sergeant Gallegos' extraordinary courage. Thank you. The recipient of the 2014 Colonel Joseph Alexander Award is Mr. Scott Ladig, co-founder of eHistory, the online historical database at The Ohio State University, for Al Gray Marine, the early years 1950 to 1967. The Sergeant Major Dan Daly Award recipient is Mr. Martin Specht for Marja Marines, a collection of photos documenting Marines in Marja, Afghanistan. Unfortunately, Mr. Specht could not be here this evening, but please take a look at some of his photos. The recipient of this year's Robert A. Gannon Award is Major David R. Dixon, United States Marine Corps, for Call in the Air, a collection of battlefield poems. The General Roy S. Geiger Award is sponsored by Foundation founder and former board member Colonel Rob Hankey in memory of his father, Wing Commander Ralph Hankey, Royal Air Force. The 2014 award goes to Chief Warrant Officer 4 Randy Gatto, United States Marine Corps retired, for living their history. VMFAT 501, Marines document F-35B flying and maintenance experiences. The article documents the groundbreaking process the Marine Corps employed to transition the F-35B into the operating forces. Colonel Walt Ford accepted earlier on his behalf. The recipient of the 2014 General Wallace M. Green Jr. Award for a nonfiction book is Mr. Bill Ardolino for Fallujah Awakens, Marines, Sheikhs, and the Battle Against Al-Qaeda. Mr. Ardolino could not join us this evening. The Colonel Julia E. Hamlet Award of the Women Marines Association is for the preservation of the history of women Marines. This award is being given posthumously to Dr. Peter Soderberg, who served as a Marine officer during the Korean War. He wrote a dozen books, including 3 on women in the Marines. They are Years of Grace, Days of Glory, The Legacy of Germaine LaVille, Women Marines, the World War II era, and Women Marines in the Korean War era. We welcome the Soderberg family here tonight, including Marine Staff Sergeant Zobler, who accepted the award earlier on Dr. Soderberg's behalf. The Colonel Robert D. Heinel Jr. Award for feature writing goes to Major Robert T. Jordan, United States Marine Corps retired. He is a senior faculty member at the Defense Information School's Public Affairs Leadership Department at Fort Meade, Maryland. His award is for Urgent Fury, Grenada 30 years later, a squad leader's story. The 2014 Sergeant Major Bradley Castle Award recipient is Sergeant Christopher Stone, United States Marine Corps, for Osprey at Night, a photo of an MV-22B Osprey on the flight deck of the USS Kearsarge LHD-3 during the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit's 2013 deployment. The Colonel John H. Magruder III Award this year goes to Base 1 Europe, Beach Hill Camp Museum and Woodland Trails in Londonderry, Northern Ireland. The small museum, created by a voluntary organization, tells the story of the U.S. Naval Operating Base and the U.S. Marine Corps in Derry, Northern Ireland from 1941 to 1945. Mr. Mark Lusby is here tonight representing the museum. The recipient of the 2014 Major Megan McClung Award is Mr. Matthew Akins, Kabul, Afghanistan, for Enemy Inside the Wire, the untold story of the Battle of Bastion, in GQ magazine in September of 2013, which gave an account of the violent confrontation following a security breach of one of the largest air bases in Afghanistan. The Brigadier General Edwin Simmons Henry I. Shaw Award recipient this year is the Chief Historian of the Marine Corps, Mr. Chuck D. Melson, for his book, Knight's Move, a study of the German Army's World War II airborne attempt to capture Yugoslavian leader Marshal Tito. The 2014 General Oliver P. Smith Award goes to a prior award recipient, San Diego Union Tribune journalist Ms. Gretel Kovac, for her articles Belated Honors for the Quezon War Heroes, Miramar Air Show Cancellation Series, and The Reawakening Comes to Camp Pendleton. The 2014 Colonel John W. Thomason Jr. Award goes to Sergeant Sarah Rothschild, United States Marine Corps, for What Happens There Doesn't Stay There. A veteran of wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, Sarah found the inspiration for her charcoal self-portrait through the continuous curses of war. The recipient of the James Webb Award for Fiction this year is critically acclaimed novelist and author Ms. Roxana Robinson for her novel Sparta. Ms. Robinson has authored 9 books, received fellowships from the National Education Association and the Guggenheim Foundation, and serves as the current president of the Authors Guild. The recipient of the 2014 Major Norman Hatch Award for a feature documentary is Mr. Matt Patrone for Collecting Sergeant Dan, a documentary about his brother, Marine Corps Explosive Ordnance Disposal Technician Sergeant Daniel James Patrone, who was killed in action on August 6th of 2011. Here is a trailer from his movie.
Where is Uncle Dan?
There.
Where is he though now?
I know.
You don't know where he is? Have you seen him in a while?
Yep.
Where?
In heaven.
In heaven?
I wish I could put my boots back on and take someone else's place. I've got over a dozen friends that got killed over there, so.
Dan was the greatest guy I ever knew.
Sometimes you walk down there and that's the last step you take.
Can you imagine a more extraordinary way of honoring your brother and a Marine? That's really special. In addition to the medallions that each of the awardees are wearing this evening, each award recipient received a commemorative brick that will be placed in Semper Fidelis Memorial Park, and in some cases, a cash award. Would all of the awardees please stand now and be recognized? When I say thank you, I don't mean from me or the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation or from the folks in this room. I will say thank you on behalf of all Marines, past, present, and future, to each of you individually and collectively for your superb contribution to the preservation and promulgation of the history of our Corps. For those of you that would like to learn more about each of these awards, please visit the Foundation's website, where there is a great deal of in-depth information on each of the awards. Please continue to enjoy your dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, a few years ago, thank you, ma'am. A few years ago, I thought I had reached that point in my life when I would no longer make truly good friends. You know, you often hear that the best friends you make in life are, you make early. And then I took this assignment as the president and CEO of the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation, and that thought left my head. I have made some wonderful new friends over the past few years, but first and foremost among them are Chuck and Rita Sienna. You know how from time to time you meet people who you just instantly like? I guess you'd say, in a platonic sense, of course, love at first sight. By the way, one of the reasons I really like Chuck is I imagine that I will hear about that phrase for some time to come. Chuck and Rita will receive the Heritage Award, which is given in recognition of those who have provided unique and significant service to the Heritage Foundation in the fulfillment of its mission. At the top of his accomplishments, Chuck is a Marine. Now, we could leave it at that and we'd all understand. But in addition to that, he is the president and co-founder of Simtex LP, a leading supplier of oil country tubular goods to the oil and gas industry. He has been the president of the Waller, Texas Economic Development Foundation since 2006. He is a member of the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation Board of Directors, where I know he provides tireless service to that foundation, and the American Patriots Campaign. He is a member of the University of Southern Mississippi Alumni Hall of Fame. Through the generosity of Chuck, his wife Rita, and their daughters Ashley and Stephanie, many have and will be in the future touched through a variety of causes. They actively support many, many causes. Some include Boys and Girls Country, St. Jude's Children's Hospital, the Weekly YMCA, and various educational institutions and youth organizations. I can tell you that Chuck and Rita are caring, compassionate, and generous people. And what is really special about that is that they have passed those wonderful qualities onto their daughters, Ashley and Stephanie. In support of the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation, Chuck and Rita have supported the Chesty's Corner program here in the museum. They have sponsored a Semper Fidelis Memorial Chapel window for a wonderful gentleman, regrettably passed away, who was a Marine veteran who served at Quezon and later a Catholic priest. When you talk about service and the window that Chuck and Rita sponsored, I can't imagine a broader spectrum of service than serving as a Marine at Quezon and as a Catholic priest. It was an absolutely wonderful thing. They are on the Commandant's Circle at the 4-star level, and they continue to support our mission in many ways other than financial. And I would say primarily simply through their friendship and support and encouragement to me as we move forward toward completing the museum. Chuck and Rita, the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation is grateful for your support, and I am truly blessed by your friendship. I am honored to present this award to you tonight, so if I could ask General Amos and General Boomer to join me up on the stage. Chuck, if you would please come up and accept the Heritage Award. Earlier this evening, I had a little difficulty with a few people who were a bit taller than I was placing this medal around their neck, but in your case, it will be no problem whatsoever. Oh my gosh, you got that big football player's bull neck where you should have gotten a longer ribbon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was told that I had to speak for 30 to 50 minutes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the Commandant's speech. I get a very few minutes. Yes, sir. To say thank you, and I'd like to tell you a little story. 10 years ago, for our 30th wedding anniversary, I presented my wife, Rita, with a 30-year Meritorious Service Award pin, complete with a certified, genuine imitation gemstone in recognition of her faithful service support to our marriage. Now, hearing this, I know some of you are going to think that I'm a graduate of the Fred McCorkle School of Romance. I assure you I am not, and I'm certain that Fred is writing this one down right now to claim as his own original idea. I bring this up now because I realize that I probably should have done more for Rita 10 years ago. Rita has endured a lot and continues to be a source of support and inspiration. Compared to me, I think that she does think that Fred's a romantic. This all comes to mind now because Rita's support has enabled me to continue to be a part of the Marine Corps by supporting the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation and the National Museum of the Marine Corps. I'm also allowed playtime, as you heard, with my friends at the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. It's easy for us as a family to be committed to these organizations because they represent and maintain the highest values of the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps Heritage Foundation and the National Museum of the Marine Corps document, preserve, and display the accurate history of the Marine Corps and remind the public of this history. commitment, and sacrifice of the men and women who have served in the Corps. Just as importantly, we're reminded of the sacrifice of the families of those who have served. Our daughters, Ashley and Stephanie, share our commitment to the Heritage Foundation, and we deeply appreciate the opportunity to invest in this great organization. As we look through these halls, we see the work that our investment has allowed to happen. We're honored by this award, but we owe you, the board, and the staff our deepest thanks for your stewardship of our investment. The history of the Marine Corps will be documented properly and is here to be shared with the world. Thank you to General Boomer, Rusty, the board of directors for choosing to honor us with this award. We're indeed honored and humbled to be recognized for doing something that we love to do. Thank you, and Semper Fi.
Chuck and Rita, thank you again for your support, your leadership in this effort, and your friendship. Thank you. Congratulations. It is now my distinct honor to introduce the chairman of the Marine Corps Heritage Foundation Board and the 24th Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Walt Boomer.